Yeah. Twickenham, Saturday, 3:00.
Yeah, everything's decided apart from who's going to win it.
Not clashing with the Champions League final.
Yes, well, that's good and right and proper, yeah, because you're competing for eyeballs.
We've seen silly things.
Yeah, I've seen silly, but I think they're all getting wise to the fact that you want eyeballs on your screen.
Yeah,
and going against football is just not sensible.
Going against an all-English football final with your English final is naive.
Yeah.
So it actually serves as a curtain raiser for the sports fans over there for that. It's 3:00 kickoff, Saturday afternoon, Saracens against Exeter.
They're the two best, again, like we were saying about Glasgow and Leinster, the two best teams in the tournament.
There's no arguing.
The league table doesn't lie, as you say. And to be honest, and the semi-finals, like the Pro 14 as well, demonstrated that gulf between them and the rest.
Saracens, they've been brilliant. They have fallen foul of Exeter's sort of suffocating game plan in the past. They'll need to be there. They'll need to be sharp. They need to be on their blow. They'll need to be focused if they're going to front up physically to what Exeter bring. I think if they do that, that'll be enough. But they're going to need to be there physically. Every bit the way they were in the European final. As abrasive, as sort of dominant in the tackle area. And if they do that to Exeter, my suspicion is that Exeter aren't going to have the answers. So that's got to be a huge focal area for them. They have a couple of interesting decisions. I mean, there's rumour that Brad Barrett could be back again. They're currently doing work on him.
They're literally patching him up somewhere and somen's screwing something in. And he's back out.
And with Tompkins obviously coming on and scoring a hat-trick in the semi-final, I mean, you wouldn't worry. So they have a couple of decisions to make, really. I wouldn't mind seeing Rhodes back in there again,
just for that physicality.
But I mean, like, you're not losing physicality with Skelton, obviously. I just think that Skelton has huge impact off the bench. I think Rhodes is a super flanker who can do all kinds of work on the Exeter back row. And then you can move Itoje back where he belongs into the second row and bring on a marauding Skelton for whomever. And towards the back end of that game.
They have such an embarrassment of riches to choose from. You're also talking like Tompkins got a hat-trick the weekend, so it's like, are you leaving him out now? Well, Barrett's back probably for Lozowski.
That's the question.
Is he on the bench? Who else is there? There's
the risk if you bring Barrett back of him going down 5 minutes in and he's losing a bench position. They might just go for Tompkins, but I don't know what they'll do.
But it's like they're just an embarrassment of riches to choose from. So it is going to be a case of if they're really gunning for it and just up to the physicality of
they
it,
need to be defending with physicality. They can't allow Exeter to suffocate.
If they're soak tackling the whole time, Exeter will pick and jam their way to the line and get there.
That's what they do all season all the time. So they just can't afford to let that happen. They have to be dominant. But then the original sin is letting Exeter get there, which is where discipline becomes a serious factor. And cheap penalties are a no-no, because Exeter will take that ball and stuff it up their jumper and have it up there for as long as it takes to score. And that is something that they'll do. So Saracens' discipline is obviously a huge factor, and then defence is a huge factor as well for them.
What I suspect, just even looking at the way the semi-final went, where like they were up against a Gloucester team that were firing shots, that were in it for around 30 minutes.
Brilliant away crowds.
That were all there, and they were in the game for the first 30 minutes, but then between the 31st minute and the 38th minute, Saris go try. And it's just game over. And they did the same to Leinster. They recognised the big moments to score, and like when they're on it like that, and it breaks the back of the game. And then contrasting that with Exeter, who were in a bit of a ding dong battle with Northampton for a time, and then they were kind of Northampton let them away with it in things like Reinach's drop ball before half time, which could have changed the game entirely, and then immediately after half time they concede as well. That's a 14-point swing in that margin. That's really more Northampton's doing than Exeter's, although they took the try really well. But I don't suspect that those opportunities, and then even the individual, like Flaherty's try was excellent, but I just don't see that kind of space for him.
That's what it's going to take. One of those guys. I think Cordero's gone injured, but someone like Noel or someone like O'Flaherty, getting on the ball, Slade, and making something happen that isn't part of their structure, because their structure could end up coming up with nothing against that Saris D, which is narrow, which is like perfectly set up to defend Exeter. It is a clash of the Titans in that way, because Exeter are so effective with that narrow game, and Saracens D has just been letting nobody through in that area.
And like if it was their B teams against each other, but that game they played a few weeks back in the season, the way that kind of went for Exeter was that they were just smashing up narrow, and a very bullish Saris were targeting the ball, getting it out of there, and then scoring off the counter attack.
Yeah, indeed. And I think Exeter did get a try, but they worked really hard for it, and Saracens only went and responded with it.
Which is something they've done all season long. Sarries, whenever they can see, they did it against Glasgow, they did it again at the against Gloucester at the weekend.
That was great.
They just
insta respond.
Yeah,
you
7 points and then 7 back.
Scores and just takes a breather, and then damn.
Yeah,
it's gone. Yeah. The exit is so
you
crucial.
Great opening try, you're in the and it's gone.
Yeah. That's another thing, is that what Exeter really struggled. They didn't get punished, but they had a couple of really loose kicks from Nick White in their exit game. I figured there's going to be a lot of kicking in the early parts of the game. And I think Saracens' kicking game is so much more disciplined. Like, Saracens will be trying to move Exeter around, get their pack running, tire them out a little bit. You can see them so easily going from left of the pitch to right of the pitch, and then either Farrell or Good or even Lazowski just slipping a little low grass finder or touch finder in behind them. Those are the kind of kicks that just turn like a big pack. That's the kind of game you want to be playing against them, moving them from side to side to in behind, turning them constantly. That's what you'd expect to see from Saracens.
And then a strike.
And Exeter, they exit with box kicks, and you got to be careful against that back three. You got to get them right. The kicking game is huge.
Well, the Leinster exit with box kicks mostly as well, and we saw great success from it against Glasgow. They had a few attacking ones thrown in the mix, and Glasgow weren't dealing with them. But what we saw against Sarries was just a back three that are designed to shut that game down. So if Exeter are to persist with that,
especially with Nick White's loose kicking game.
This is it. I fear for Exeter. You've been casting aspersions about the roundedness of their team all season long, and I think that compared to the team that drew with Munster at Christmas, I think they're much better now. I think they're actually taking a few more chances. But I still maintain that their structure is just a little bit limited.
It's comparable to Munster, where they have some great players, but they don't actually design their game around feeding them. And when they do get fed with the ball, it's as a result of what their forward pack has done. They win games up front. That's why they try and do it.
And they win that whole league doing that, because consistently the Premiership sides tend to have that little bit of softness around the pack and a brittleness that doesn't tend to exist in the European game as much. When you're looking at just Exeter, it doesn't feel like they have to do much to win these games a lot of the times. And then even with the semi-final was a good little summary of their season, where Northampton were firing shots, had their chances, made mistakes, and then by the end Exeter were just walking over them for soft kind of scores to kind of inflate the scoreboard a little in their favour. The very last try was just farcically soft, and you just Northampton done at that point. So they tend to wear teams out, and it tends to be the last quarter where they're looking to build even if they're building a lead, they just want to have it done, and it tends to be that the games are broken just from the relentlessness of their physicality. You could see there to match them.
You could see that picture from them in the sense that if they can get a leg up in that breakdown area, if they can attack and strip Sarries of the ball, really focus on the 3 forward set pieces that are the breakdown area, which is its own little. It's not a set piece, but it is its own little area of focus for the forward pack, and then obviously the scrum and line out, and defensive line out. If they can cause George problems, which he occasionally has, get up on the line out and spoil. If they can get a leg up, obviously no Mako, Barrington and Lamasatele, they're not bad scrummagers by any stretch, but certainly
in fact Sarri's scrum has been super impressive this year. I think it's actually been quite improved this season.
But there's just so much heft in that back five that it's so tough to get a leg up. But if Exeter can get a leg up on the engage, for example, I would say Ben Moon against Lamasatele is their best bet of maybe getting something happening there. That could be an area of dominance for them, and then obviously the line-out drive, which is huge.
It's a fulcrum for them against any team, but it has to be on point if they're going to compete.
And that's where penalties come in. If they can win penalties, punish Saracens for their mistake, put them in the corner, and then get a leg up, catch them a little cold,
take 5 or 7,
be very structured, take 5 or 7. That's the picture for Exeter. It is there.
You can see the way. We've seen this game. These two have been flying the flag for the Premiership for the last few seasons. So we kind of know in broad speak what it's going to look like, and what each team's going to try and do, and then you're going to get as a result of that, you're going to get a sense in that first half and even the first quarter of which team is actually implementing that more successfully. Depending on where the game goes, you'll
I would say
get
that
a sense
I would
of
say
which
that
team
like
is
a
favoured.
10-point lead for Saracens is game over.
Yeah.
A 10-point lead for Exeter is
game
advantage
on.
Exeter,
It's game
but
on.
definitely game
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
Like
for
it's not
sure.
the same thing.
Yeah.
Saracens can strike, and then they can strike.
Yeah.
You know, they're the best team in Europe.
Yeah, exactly. That's the fact of it. The cold hard fact, and the best team in Europe with a penchant for just grab and try. They don't stop, and they don't stop from minute one. They're always looking for the opening, and it's only that it comes later in the those try little things that happen in those games are because they've figured it out at that point after 50 odd minutes of probing. Now Faz knows and they're comfortable and they know exactly what they're doing. So they're like, what I'm basically saying is that I think Sarries are going to do it, so barring just like
barring just being a little off,
or a little soft. If you see just a little bit of fatigue,
the physical war is where it starts. If Sarries get parity, I think he could be done. I think that's enough for Sarries. They'll win it in the other areas. But if Exeter get advantage in those physical areas, that's where you expect to see it.
Yeah, so that's why I think the opening quarter is the most interesting of it.
And I really do think a hungry Rhodes is a good man to throw in there. I mean, Skelton's had his couple of big games. He can come off the bench and make an impact. Rhodes is going to be hungry for some finals footy now.
Yeah,
He's missed,
think so.
He did play the Munster semi-final, but he missed the final. He didn't play last week. He came off the bench. Get him in there at number 6, and I promise you that boy will make
He'll
plays.
deliver. Yeah, no, it's having that depth. There's there's a knack to that timing, timing the charge for each of them,
and just getting a guy hungry enough that when you throw him in there, he's going to be class. Yeah, and I think that's where Rhodes is.
Plus, a barnstorming 20 minutes from
Will Skelton
is so scary. In a final,
a tired man with him running at you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm done.
You're done. Not happening. That is not happening.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what do you think? You're probably leaning Sarries as well.
Yeah, I think all over the park.
The whole balance of just
where Ben Spencer's at and where Nick White's at.
you really don't you've never liked Nick White.
I still don't like Nick White.
No.
I really do like Ben Spencer.
I do.
What a
find. He's been one of their finds of the season.
Yeah.
He's really grabbed that jersey off Wigglesworth. And Wigglesworth isn't doing anything particularly. He comes off the bench and does his job.
He's been doing.
And it's just that Spencer's been exemplary all season. He really has. His box kicking is on point, competitive all the time.
Super passing.
He's wisdom and wisdom in his defence as well. He's not he'll miss a few tackles here and there, but he's always in the right place where the tackle needs to be made. For him, he's not in the way of a guy trying to make a dominant hit. He's covering the extremities. No, he's a very savvy footballer, and he's.
Yeah, we're waxing lyrical about Sarries. We may look a little silly if Exeter do it, but I'm sticking with my guns.
Yeah, but we're going to stick with our guns the same way we were. We've done it all podcast every time. It's we're going to stick with the better team that we think is going to win.
Yeah,
we're just going to call that. But there's many pictures that the game can take, and they are the two most deserving teams. So hopefully it'll be a great final. Hopefully the weather suits it as well. We obviously wouldn't want to have too much of a rainy day final. It would be nice to see some.
I actually have no idea what
at all,
except that it's quite hot here in Dublin, which would lead me to believe that it's probably even hotter in London.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be, whether it's wet or not, it'll be warm, I'd say.
Probably. So, yeah. So with that, best of luck to both teams, because we're not no horse in that race, but
no.
But it'll be interesting to watch the last Premiership game of 2019.
100%, and we're looking forward to English rugby wrapping up. And I know reasonable 1st of June we'll let you away with it.
Yeah,
that's a fine time to end. Thanks for watching the Overlap Rugby podcast. If you want to subscribe, there should be a button up here. Don't forget to give us a like and share with your friends, and please leave comments down below. We love the conversation. Thanks.